don't patient we want to continue for share. And we want to go straight to the interview. You know, all doctor for too long because it's a very, very busy man. So I make say we're very, very grateful when it's able to take time off in busy schedule for can join me today. Dr. Samura Kamara, sir, as an economist and also a former Minister of Finance, if you become President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, what you go do for we the people in a salon for turn around what people they describe right now as a dire economic state now we country?
Thank you very much. This is a very, very difficult question. I can tell you, say, it's not going to be a quick fix, and there's no quick fix in developing an economy. When the economy goes down, there's no quick fix to turn it around. And when you don't turn around, there is no quick fix in sustaining the achievements where you don't make. Now, as I still the Fed for the flag bearership of the party, I also consider what will be my policy priorities going forward as a president of Sierra Leone. So I know let the fight for flag bearership, the obscure or the overshadow my thoughts about Sierra Leone, because I have a strong passion for Sierra Leone. There are two aspects to your question. Number one, what are the policy priorities going forward after 2023? And number two, what could be the key elements, the key ingredients in the first 100 days as president of this country? Let me start with the policy priorities. For the economy, it's going to be the economy, the economy, the economy. It's going to be about jobs, jobs, jobs. It's going to be about reviving an economy where we've been, as far as we know, we've been left with a strong foundation for move forward. Unfortunately, everything is now going down in a shambles with no sense of direction. But as you consider the economy, you also consider certain ingredients which are very important for let the economy grow and sustain itself. Where I feel say, if you not consider them, the economy not be vital. It's not going to be an economy where it will be sustainable. Number one, security, the rule of law, and institutions. We all know how compromised the security sector is. We all know how compromised institutions will have for maintain the rule of law than they. We all know what is happening to our institutions, where we spend a whole 5-year period under President Kaba for bill, whether na National Revenue Authority, whether na National Public Procurement Authority, whether na NACIT, whether na the ACC. All of these institutions were meant to improve public financial management, transparency, and accountability in the economy. These are ingredients. If you not get them, if you not get the confidence of the people in the rule of law, in the institutions where they administer rule of law, it will be very difficult. And even with the security apparatus. The next one, what would you look at in terms of the economy? You look at energy. You look at infrastructure. You therefore look at transportation. Then you therefore look at what type of educational system you need. What type of healthcare system you go need. What type of agricultural interventions you need. Now they talk about agropreneurship. Also just for produce no more. Now in agriculture, we look at a good interface between the smallholder farmer and the medium and large scale farmer. Housing is very important. Tourism, culture, and natural resources. Tourism is the gold mine. Culture is very necessary in changing the mindset of our people towards development. Natural resources would also want to happen in our forestry. The forest today will not become a commercial enterprise for those who want to make quick money. Then, my brother, you have to look at the investment climate. Do we have the right investment climate? But over and above all, within the context of what we are experiencing, I think there will be time, and there should be time, there must be time for reconciliation, for healing, for detribalizing this country and de-regionalizing Sierra Leone. We need a united nation. These are the key components which will help support economic recovery, sustainable high economic growth, and a better future for Sierra Leone.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, Dr. Samura Wilson Kamara. And that response will give very excellent response. I mean, I believe say plenty of viewers themselves don't learn plenty. Now just few minutes where you summarize some key aspect them, we will able help the country move forward. Yeah. But the other question here is, Dr. Samura, is you are a key member of the previous administration of former President Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma. How do you see that particular administration they govern the country as compared to now this current administration they govern the country? What are the key different system? We don't see where we will highlight for which they will take, because many people are wondering. A few years back, they see some rapid development, but now what we're seeing, people are really saying the ground dry and so many issues. What's the difference? What's happening where this huge difference exists?
I think the good thing for Sierra Leone is that I served the administration just before President Ernest Bai Koroma's administration came into power, where I also served at some of the highest offices. The major difference between the two is denial. When you come into power, folk can deny all waiting you company don't do. But then you don't get alternatives in place. During President Kaba in 5 years, I can boast, to which I was also a central player, a key player. I can boast at this period, we spend more on building institutions. Building institutions. This was the period. All the institutions that we see today, you see them. When a security reform program will be good for reform the military and the police and made them viable institutions, manageable institutions, professional institutions, non-political institutions. That was very important. It was during this period of 5 years, between 2002 and 2007, where we built all the institutions that we see today. When we merged the Office of Income Tax Department and the Customs Department. It was difficult. Today, the National Revenue Authority don't exist for a number of years since 2004. Now, during this period, we moved public procurement, particularly when I was as financial secretary in the ministry. I saw it was not proper for the Accountant General, not the Minister of Finance, for control public procurement, because now they give resources, now they give accounts, now they make payments for public activities. So you cannot also be a judge in your own court. So we moved procurement away, and finally we established the National Procurement Authority. We thought it was very important to get a safety net for the workers, especially the pensioners. We struggled, and finally we set up NACIS, National Insurance. We have all these institutions. Then we had for ensure that there is accountability and transparency, and for reduced corruption, we set up the ACC, Anti-Corruption Commission. Now, you have all of these institutions. We had a comprehensive reform of the judiciary for make sure that the judiciary is properly remunerated, properly instituted, so that when they administer justice, they will not be corrupted. We do all of that. So 2002 to 2007 was institution building. When Ernest Koroma in government came, he did not deny what was done by President Kaba. He continued from there. He said, this is not the time for go into what we call the hardware of development. Because when I don't do the software, institutions, public procurement, we do the most comprehensive reform, public financial management. All the reforms so they see, budget management, bringing the private sector into the budget, bringing the public sector into the budget, bringing ministers into the budget, and everything was done during that 5-year period. So when he came, he had a strong base, and that's why he was comfortable to start with the hardware when our infrastructure, be it in roads, in energy, in water system, in the health sector, in the educational sector, in all MDAs. This is a period for infrastructure, for visible investment. Let people then see how government they believe. So we did this. He not been denied, he not been criticized by Kaba. He continued. But then the other difference is when this government came, they came with what we call negative propaganda. We have inherited the worst government in the country since independence. Can you imagine the economy that grew up at the highest GDP rate of 20.5% in 2013 because of Ebola, 2014, 2015, it went down to the same level, minus 20.5. But then by 2016, it went up again. It grew up by 6.5%. By 2017, we had structural problems. We came down to 3.5%. Today, if you say he inherited the worst economy in the world, we are still at 3.50. We'll not grow from there. Now, then two things here, now they make the greatest difference. The sense of denial, the sense of negative propaganda. Government is a continuity. You must have that sense in governing. So if you ask me, these are the main difference between the two administrations. The President Ernest Koroma's listening administration and continuing from where Pakaba left off, and this other administration where says, no, sorry, all that you did was wrong, we're going to start afresh. But then we have not seen that freshness.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Samura. I mean,
Yes,
the sense of denial, this is very, very important because many people themselves say, don't talk and they don't highlight and say, once this administration came into governance, everything say, oh, but in the previous administration never did anything. But now we don't begin, people themselves say don't begin see them. And one of the key things that they touted is about the fight against corruption. But now we've seen the 2018, 2019 audit reports where don't come out and they don't expose massive corruption, and it's under this administration. So what now you take into that? Because that is the flagship policy of this current administration. And what we don't see, according to the Auditor General report, now the 2 years they were the audit 2018, 2019, it seems as if we don't lost more money than we ever lost. And so it's an irony here. What now you want to take, sir?
You know, when I'm in the financial secretary, I find out that the key area from public sector corruption, now the lack of proper records. If you manage public resources, if you manage even your life, you should be able to have proper records. Records, perhaps you can maintain them in a good memory, if you have a good memory, retentive memory. Or if you don't, you back them up with visible memory. That is, you get paperwork. We spent so much resources between 2002 to 2007 for develop records management. We had a World Bank project where Even in recruitment, if you don't get a file for everybody where you recruit, the letter for the advertisement, the letter for the interview, the letter of appointment, and the person in progress on the job, in the office. I think we have lost all of that. The way they use public resources, you forget records. What did they underpin the Auditor General's reports? For me, now the lack of proper records. If you have paper records, whether or not you spend the monies wisely or unwisely, if you don't get records, the Auditor General will say, sorry, you have misused these funds. It will accuse you. And if you don't get records, there's no way you go dispute the findings of the Auditor General. And I feel sorry for the Auditor General, where now be my colleague, now the Minister of Finance, he was in the Accountant General's department, say by promotion, by God's will, it can be Auditor General. So, you know, all the reforms that will be take now the Minister of Finance under the public financial management system. She knew all of this. And that's why what has happened to us now the incremental lack of record keeping. And if you don't keep records in the use of public funds, whether you corrupt or not, you'll be accused of corruption. If you're not able to prove, it's difficult. And now, I can tell you, I don't look through the report. One particular area will worry me, now the use of funds where they go now, NACOVAC, in the fight against COVID-19. How can you procure things like motorcycles at an average cost of 21 million leones each, when up till today, the average cost of a motorcycle not reach 10 million yet? And that's very worrying. How can you not account for vehicles, procurement of vehicles, whether in the right specification or not, you still don't have proper records? Computers. And then for me, it cuts across. I think it is deliberate. Because if you don't get records, you want to hide the transaction, which you do. So unless we go back again, sometime, where God make I be president, I will go back to record keeping. It's very, very essential. In any institution, if you don't get proper records, you'll be found guilty of hiding the true transaction. And this is why we are. And I do hope, even when Parliament they consider this report, they will go back to the essence of record keeping. You must adhere to the rules of public financial management. There are rules. If they say before you do this expenditure, this procurement, these are the rules for follow. If you for advertise, advertise. If you want to go to sole procurement, say so, go to sole procurement, but there are rules for you. When the Auditor General comes and does not see any of this being followed, they get right for conclude that I'm not happy with this transaction, therefore I'm going to pronounce them as a loss of revenue to the government, to the society, to the country. So these are the areas where I think we'll get for a look at.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Samura. And that is all about proficiency. For no say you do something with that competency, for no I'm doing professional, and I believe say you don't articulate them very, very well. One thing again we will not touch about inside this economic business, now this short of cash, where the bank governor tell we say the Leo's don't short now the country. So they think I'm saying, well, you didn't so you're a former bank governor as well. What thing that the public will facilitate for all Leo's short now the country? What now your own experience about that, sir?
The best person for explain that one day, now the governor of the central bank. I don't be governor. I don't work in a bank of Sierra Leone for years, in formative years, in career part in life, in the central bank. I was there while I left university. I worked briefly for the commercial bank, Barclays. and then moving on to the central bank, up to deputy director of research, and then personal assistant to 2 governors. Never ever I don't witness an acute shortage of currency in an economy as this one. It's difficult to explain because I always believe that the central bank and the printers, these 2 institutions, have an agreed model of currency replenishment. The model where they tell you at any particular time, number 1, almost currency you put into decirculation. That's when they are mutilated. We have the banking department, the currency department there. Now they look at all the notes at all time where they receive from the commercial banks. Not from the public through the commercial banks. Now then notes when they look at, now then they take the one they will say not fit for circulation again. Automatically, this note should be replaced when next the commercial bank they make requisition for notes. Now, when in the vault, you must have a stock of currency notes for make that replacement through the banking system. You must have a stock of notes with your printers for make such replacement into the vault. A currency note becomes only useful when it is taken out of the vault. Once it is inside the vault, not to money. Now, when the governor announced, say, well, sorry, transportation difficulties, my brother, I was confused. Because you have a medium to long-term program. Your statistics must be right. Because the commercial banks, then they deposit and they withdraw on a daily basis from the central bank. Because you have prudential liquidity requirements. Because they have a liquidity requirement so then for meet. A total percentage of all the deposits should be maintained with the central bank. That they guide you at all the time. But for can't say now, sorry, we don't get currency notes because of transportation, then we begin to recirculate notes that we don't put aside for go destroy, we call them mutilated notes, for go destroy. And then that is very worrying. That is very worrying. But I do hope, as the governor said, if you say by mid-January, we'll get sufficient currency in the banks. I hope that is so. Me now, it's difficult for me for that approve because they don't block my account, so I cannot withdraw. Even my small pension, when they go to the commercial bank, I've been deprived of withdrawing. So it's difficult unless I hear from which people and say, sorry, I go to a bank today for 5 million, then they give me 500,000. For 1 million, they say they give me 200,000. That's very disturbing. Because they unblock the economy. Because the currency now they fuel the economic transaction. If currency not there, it's very difficult for the economy to go. So the only thing people then go do, either they continue to keep their currency notes, go and get, now they host because they not lost confidence in the banking system, which is bad for the economy. Or they go back into USA don't come out the crude system of better economy. We want tamatis. I get 1 pen go. I say, well, this pen are for you picking for go school, so give me 2 tamatis for this. I find that very difficult. I hope, by God's grace, we'll not go resort to that. We'll not go reach that level there. So this is why we are. I think it is only the central bank that has, and the governor, we get the capacity for explain to we what happened. There are personal views, but I will reserve them one day. But generally, for general public consumption, let me view this.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. Again, I always tell you thank you because what you do, we don't learn plenty, but that short answer they will give you. Most people on social media, people in the chat room, everybody say, wow, I mean, this is a high opener, you don't give it, so we don't really learn plenty. But this short answer we don't give, so they tell you thank you plenty for that. Again, this the next segment of one go. Now, sorry, don't church small, but we go there anyway. Now about peace and security as paramount to the people of Sierra Leone. The previous administration, under the previous administration, we see when they rate Sierra Leone as one of the most peaceful countries in Africa. And we cannot say that for now for this current administration. Going forward, what will be your advice to this current administration in terms of for them maintain peace and security in our country?
Brother, the basic ingredients for peace and security. Number one, you should have a nationalistic, independent, disinterested security apparatus. The police and the military. They are serving the government and they are serving the people of this country more than the government. But if you come, you serve more, you leave service to the government and you left the people, I think that is wrong. It is the people you are serving. The government is subsidiary. And then, if you have a judiciary, we also, they pay allegiance more to the government than to the people, to the extent that people then they lost trust and confidence in these two institutions. That's very worrying. Now, if you have institutions in the country, other institutions, National Revenue Authority, NACIT, all of these institutions, National Public Procurement Authority, where they send more towards the government of the day, I think that is worrying. Because when all of these were set, then force accountability, not to the people of the country, not to the government, not to the executive in particular. If you have a parliament, we know they serve the people of the country, we vote them in. That's very, very worrying. If you don't have all of this, then there will be no peace. Because you are creating unnecessary tension. You are creating unnecessary mistrust. If you get into things there, mistrust and lack of confidence and tension is not good for any country. Under an Escurubans government, and even before that, under Pakaba, the early years of post-conflict reconstruction, these were the key challenges. How to establish peace and harmonize the country. Under Pakaba, we start the program of reconciliation, reconstruction. It was built on the assumption that society, certain parts of the society were marginalized. They were defranchised. So many areas. Now we sit down, we just think. I didn't know the true causes of the war. But because we wanted peace, we developed different programs. Who feel say go bring peace in the country. And I think there was peace. By the time Pakaba left, there was peace. When Ernest Koroma left, by the time they come, they get a high rating. Peace, reconciliation. Now, we reach a certain stage where even voice, legitimacy have all been compromised. Nobody can say anything again. Nobody can even sit down and reflect and talk about the grievances. Because if you got grievances, you don't get an institution where you go wait for relieving grievances. What are you? Are you fit to live in a country? No. So this is not the problem we will get now. I do hope during this interview, as I can always say, government, nation building, policy management is about listening. Elect your enemy. Listen to your opposition. Listen to your opponent. That's how you learn and move forward. Nobody has a monopoly of knowledge. Nobody or monopoly of excellence. So this is our problem. What do we do to move forward? Unless we get it, what I do explain so, back into where they were before. 2018, it was very difficult for law to get peace and security. Nobody no want to war again in Sierra Leone. Then nobody not tell you lie. And I do hope the people of this country, and I admire the fact that they sit down, then they bear. And I think this will continue until God brings salvation to Sierra Leone.
Thank you once more again, Dr. Samura. And like what you said, also this particular advice where you don't give so, I hope say people in authority will listen, because like what you said, when you open and say you can learn from them, and we human beings will continue for learn. A part of human nature for that you continue for learn. There is no monopoly in knowledge. Wherever some other man get you small knowledge. Thank you very much again. We don't continue. We don't clear this segment. I think the next phase now, when at the next segment of this interview, we're going now an aspiring presidential candidates. Former presidential candidates, now an aspiring presidential candidates for the mighty APC party. So the question you ask here, why should the APC party stick with you? Because they don't, you were once their flag bearer, and now they aspire for become their flag bearer again. Why you think say the APC party for stick with you?
I think first and foremost, allow me for that I give a general comment to the people of this country, which is that a government in power in Sierra Leone is not for 10 years. Not for 10 years. The Constitution says 5 years. If you do well, you have another 5 years. If you don't do well, you don't go out. We don't see that don't happen in America. Most recently, Mr. Trump, he don't do well. He don't do well. He don't go out. It shows that he not perform. So therefore, I want the people that know say government not to distance, not to 10 years. Let nobody not tell you lie. 5 years as a president. If you do well, they go vote you back, they vote your party back. If you not do well, after 5 years, they go vote you out. That's what the Constitution says. Now, for Samura Kamara, it's very difficult. I know they praise myself. Yes, there are other competent people where they aspire. In 2018, we were 28. But by God's intervention, and by the wisdom of the president and the advisors, including NAC, including us, 28 candidates, and the people of this country, he chose Samura Kamara. He not do him on his own. He did it on the advice and consultations with every segment of society. Then get empowered. And there are many, many meetings. Even amongst us 28, we say, we don't use authority. The National Advisory Committee of this party, he allow you for let juice for we. And then in the end, Samura was nominated and I became flag bearer for 2028 elections. And during the elections, after the elections, my brother, with the short time that I heard, what I get, when I start, they say, you sabi am? People then say, yes, we sabi am. Once Ernest by Kuruma sabi am, we sabi am. Because they had confidence in Ernest by Kuruma. And Ernest by Kuruma was given confidence by the National Advisory Committee, by us as flag bearer aspirants, and by the people of the country, including even the National Delegates Conference. Now, the election come. I think say, all man go see the results. All man today they cry. They know say Samura Kamara not do bad. First attempt, they say I not do bad. So my own view was that, well, if I not do bad, when I not go allow me second time, let try again. The present president was given a second chance. The second, President Nkrumah was given a second chance. What's wrong with Samura Kamara? Why? But I know they stop anybody the right to challenge the flag bearership of Sierra Leone. But my only view I get is that Lone Order in such a way that would they destroy the APC. The APC has potential. They got potential for redeeming this country from where we are now. But if we're not united, it will be difficult. My experience in governance and the way I performed for the 2018 election, I think these are strong grounds. I know say person not for Komoto again challenge me, but I know me feel say it's necessary. Because what is it that they will bring on the table? I always ask myself, what is new? What is new? Let us have self-introspection. Let us think. Let us look at ourselves, our past, our present, our competencies. Lord, be honest with yourself. So, this is my message to the people of Sierra Leone. You have a choice. Sierra Leone needs a redeemer. Sierra Leone needs somebody with integrity, with confidence. Somebody when they come and begin for land again. Presidency is a difficult job today. Not so picking business, so it's not a learning curve anymore. Now performance, where you come, if I begin perform from day one. Presidency. And not an office job. Presidency, not for just the whole meetings. And not so much of politics. It's not intellectual capacity. All today, we don't see them. Where intellectual capacity is absent, we don't switch it don't happen. Propaganda is not enough. You have to be genuine. You have to be prepared. You have to be strong. You can't forget, above all, the fear of God. If you don't get the fear of God and the fear of evil, you will find it difficult. That's why my own view is that in my first 100 days, the very first challenge, now for choose a cabinet. You need people in the cabinet who got fearing. People in the cabinet will get a vision for the people of this country. People in the cabinet will not be involved by evil means. We're not greedy. We're not selfish. And that will be my very first challenge during my first 100 days.
Okay, thank you very much again once more. I mean, you don't put a very, very compelling message, I think, to the APC and to the country in general, which, I mean, I believe say most people who listen to it, ladies and gentlemen, we get plenty people. I mean, I think so we get thousands of comments already. We tell now, all thank you. All I don't comment, I don't put in a comment with civility. Now this would expect as Sierra Leoneans, wherever we agree peacefully. I commend on for that. I really appreciate my efforts the way I don't do. Dr. Samura, going forward, the people of Sierra Leone are looking up to the main opposition APC party as an alternative government in waiting. And you, as a potential leader of the APC party, what are the reassurances you are going to give to the people of Sierra Leone that you are going to deliver if the people put their trust in UNA come 2023?
I think the issue is that, and what I want to let people they all understand, it's about continuity. Would they give the assurance that when the APC come back to power, our base is why we stopped in 2017. We'll not leave the country in a bad shape at all. Let nobody not say we're not lie. Infrastructure was up. Education was up. Healthcare sector was up. Governance was good. Peace was there. The rule of law was high. One day, during President Roman time, jail no media person. Kill nobody. We have seen all of this. They go down. So we base now still from where we left off. What did the guide we for move forward from there also? Now the performance of the present administration. Because you need time to correct the wrongs. Will not happen. Why would you sack somebody because of your name or because of the party where you belong? Why? Why would you see the opposition party as an enemy? I don't understand it. We're all Sierra Leoneans. Nobody on your own will change Sierra Leone if not bring everybody else on board. We all have a role to play. The cleaner, the carpenter, the messenger, the Okada driver, the keke riders, the market women, the truck riders, all the way, the businessman, na Abacha, na Congo Market, na Kuto Road. Now then, the Luma, the way they take place, whether na Furedugu Luma or na all the way na Blama Masakwe Luma, we all get a role to contribute to Sierra Leone. Why do you always think we, the minority, will not constitute even 5% of the population? We say we get all the cents from Move Sierra Leone. That is not right. So me, they give the confidence that the government, the next government of APC under Samura Kamara, it will be a listening government. It will be a government where they continue from Musa we left 2017. And continuity no means say you follow lock, stock, and barrel. No, it means you look at the good achievements, you scale them up. You look at the excesses, you reduce them, you address them. You look at the bad sides, you eliminate them. That's what continuity is all about. But people then feel say continuity now just for follow X person. No, we're talking about policy. We talk about national development. So I want to give the people the confidence that it will be very easy for us to kickstart, just to go back, not to Fokanla, no. The present administration, they're on a learning curve. And that's why it is difficult for them. Because when you learn, especially when you don't get the right samples for follow, you don't ignore all what you inherit, it's very difficult for you. And the alternatives that you get have never been tested. And they will not work. Not to time this against. Time is not on our side. We have international competition. No country, no, they won't want for develop now. So Sierra Leone, they don't wait for we don't begin the land again. No. If we build a 4-lane road, something for the reduce to a 6-lane road, because the country is growing. We have to think big for Sierra Leone. We not for think as a country with 7 million people, no. For they think as a country with 30, 40, 50 million people. Any service they provide. That way, they are providing for various generations yet unborn. So that's why I feel say the party get for move on. It will not be difficult. It as in day we get for change the narrative. You get for change, think out of the box, for make an in-brain something, for make name, for make big change. Not a small bull. You have to show bold leadership. You have to get big ambition for move forward in the country. Otherwise, if we not do that, we will find them very, very difficult. And I think the party is ready for that. The APC is very ready to take over the mantle of leadership in Sierra Leone. Very, very prepared. Never mind what they happen within the party. Deep down, we are very, very prepared. We have the people. They have all served in public service. They all get the experience. We have the diasporans, they are there. Some of them have never been tapped, have never been tested. Bring them on board. We'll bring them on board. These are the time for rethink policies, rethink Sierra Leone, and move forward.
Thank you once more again, Dr. Samura. I mean, all holistic approach there. You don't sell. I think so many people in the chat room don't buy APC party already, even more. Because I mean, you've given the thing is what we don't pick up for the interview, where many people that don't mention in the chat room is your honesty is exemplary. So we tell you thank you once more again very, very much for giving this opportunity for lawyer give from you directly. Doctor, you know go kind of a platform like this way now, one of the big platforms that the diaspora will not ask you about the to-sim issue. You know, like when you say no more, so many people in the diaspora will go able one contribute for move things them forward, for make sure say themselves contribute for the nation building in Sierra Leone. But the to-sim issue become up. So what's now your own take for this to-sim issue, and how would this be dealt with if you under your own administration or at the moment even?
My brother, I must confess that until I was made a flag bearer for the APC, I don't ever know about this to-sim. Because I don't see Boku elections then. It was never an issue. Never, ever. Now, during the 2018, now this to-sim business be an issue. When they signed the form, the nomination form, now the office of NEC, I see these 4 requirements, 4 to 5 requirements as a flag bearer. And one of them was that you don't forget this to-sim business. So now I'm turned, before I sign, now I ask my brother, eminent lawyer, brother JFK, when I'm there with me, they advise me legally what you for do, not for do. I say, JFK, what happened? I said, this section here, so I don't know section 4 or section 5. I said, was this provision ever there? He take the paper, now I read them. He said, my brother, he be always there. Then I turned to the NEC commissioner, Mfa Ali. I said, Fa, this provision be ever there? Nice, yes. I said, well, why is it an issue now? He said, himself, no. It is a constitutional matter. The bottom line is that it's a constitutional matter. But sometimes, now 2018 election, I wake them up. The only thing they say, you have a sleeping lion. You go wake them up. When the lion grab now, you begin to hunt everybody for kill. Now it don't happen to me. For me, this to seem now a lion will just wake up. We pray that parliamentarians, because now there are no more 2 aspects of it. These parliamentarians were there now, before 2023, they can amend that law. If they don't amend them, we'll get the constitutional review. Sometimes this government, in considering the new constitution, the amended constitution of 1991, then we'll address that issue today. I think during the APC government, when will they consider the recommendations of Justice Cowan in Constitutional Review Committee, I think we look at that and we try to find solution. And the conclusion was that it should be taken out of the Constitution because it's discriminatory. Sierra Leone is a Sierra Leonean, no matter who say they. People are not going to the diaspora for go waste their time. We have seen how Sierra Leone has benefited, and we continue to see that from the diaspora. There was a time when I was a financial secretary, diaspora remittances were more than the foreign aid we get. And up to today, we still depend, people then still depend on diaspora remittances. Why do you let these people vote? Then you say they cannot be voted for. They cannot be made X, Y, this sort of thing. And it for me is totally discriminatory. But it's a constitutional matter, and I do hope both the present parliament and the present government will try and take this provision out of the constitution and give us equity in our democratic system.
Thank you once more again. I believe say plenty Fambule and the diaspora would very much appreciate for you that from you, and that particular law is very, very discriminatory. And you hope we all the hope say Parliament or maybe the Constitutional Review will do something about it. Thank you very much once more again. Dr. Samura, for wrap up now, because this is the last question, because we don't take your time too much, and you're a very, very busy person. And once again, we're going to tell you, so we appreciate you greatly that you're able to come at this platform and can enlighten we past so many things today. We don't learn plenty things from you. We tell you thank you for that, and we pray God bless you for that. Now going forward, we look at women participation in politics. We get plenty women at this platform here, so we don't want to come out to ask some time about women. Yes, because they don't comment plenty at the platform. So one know, if you become president of the Republic of Sierra Leone come 2023, how will you help for empower women then? Going forward now, you can Sierra Leone, even thinking bringing women at the top echelon of governance.
Yes, my brother, there are two groups in any country. We need serious empowerment. The women, and then picking them, the youth. I think we need very strong youth and women enterprise schemes. We will empower them people here, politically, economically, and socially. Today, they are here, we help them to prepare a better future for themselves. But the good thing is that from today, they are agents of building that future. The youth are agents of building their future. The women are agents of building that future. All we need for do now for accommodate them. Accommodate them in policy making, in public positions, in recruitment, in the execution of policy, in all aspects of governance. For empower them, for give them the environment, we go make the youth will increase their voice and legitimacy and their relevance. Similarly, we will empower the women for increase their voice, legitimacy, and relevance. I think it can be done. It's about confidence building. Not to say we don't get good, strong women then, but some of them, I find they're shy. They prefer for keep quiet, just as men, some men then they qualify, they prefer for keep quiet. Similarly with the youth. For the youth, we will stop for misuse them in politics. The only time we sometimes can see the youth them, they say, oh, they hala. We there for you, blah, 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 blah. After politics, we abandon them. Similarly, I go to Wellington yesterday. I go tell Barry Nadu. One Councillor Tolly, he died. Wellington a peacock farm. I go tell this Barry Nadu. Always where they go them place and then. But how they run me eye. Because I they see how desperate them people are today. They want change. They want empowerment. They want their lives to be scaled up. And it's a big challenge for us. So when they go back, we don't apply so many models, so many approaches. We have to rethink them. We have to rethink them. It's fine for letting people here, let them move forward. If you want to bring women in cooperatives, let them be not a cooperatives for profit making, I mean for cooperatives for service, public service, no. They should be enterprising cooperatives for make profit and for sustain the business. A group of them should come. Similarly for the youth, skills development, tech voc education, not to academic education, no more they make mortal man. And I've seen it. I get a group of women, the best example also at the pool. Barefoot College, we have a group of uneducated women where they run a whole successful solar enterprise in this country. Now, counterline. They are uneducated. But then they claim that the roof, then they build inverters, then they install panels them, install batteries them. These are uneducated. I think we need to develop those skills across board. Beyond the academic side, we need for the technical skills. We've got to spend resources. We have to have special programs, build business institutions, technical vocational institutions. Let the woman, if you know sabi book self, let go to an institution where go sabi read ABC, where go at least sign in name, able read newspaper small, able prepare a project. You know, so we need all of them. It's America. They say we have to think out of the box again. Let's not go back and repeat the same schemes, the same policies that we've not do before. They are relevant, but they have to be rethought. They'll move forward.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Samura Kamara. And once more on this platform, we appreciate you greatly. And the word, when I say patriots, you know, okay, overuse them sometimes. All man, they say all man are patriotic. But yes, if somebody deserve to get that title today, now somebody like you, because what you don't can't tell me today, waiting plenty people that in chat don't learn. You don't know, say, yes, this person is well accomplished. Because you begin to tell you about Tijan Kaba in term, when you begin work, all kind accomplishments on a do they take on to an escoma in term. And I believe say even this current administration, if they listen to you no more, then go do much better. And we at this platform here, like when the people they watch no more right now, so they appreciate you so much greatly, sir. We say appreciate you greatly, and we believe say this why before say thousands and thousands of people them don't see this interview again for see this interview. I believe say most of them as Sierra Leoneans them will appreciate you, pray for you, may God guide and protect you. So Dr. Samura Kamara, sir, we've come to the end of this remarkable interview. So I don't know if you get any last word for say as we close now, because the people them have say we say no more go there actually the interview is not going to stop. So what are your last words, sir?
Well, my last word is that one, I say thank you to you for affording me the opportunity for talk to the people of this country and for thank the people for listening. Going forward, everybody gets a choice. We're not going to make choice for you. I'm not going to make choice for you. But people therefore realize, say, if you make the wrong choice, you will suffer the consequences. If you make the right choice, you will enjoy the dividend. Let God make, if Samura Kamara be flag bearer and then Samura Kamara be president, now we suffer now. We will share the burden. Let Samura Kamara also make sure that we share the dividend. I thank you now all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samura Matthew Wilson Kamara, the aspiring presidential candidate. I'm not going to say flag bearer, presidential candidate.
Thank you.
APC party. We tell you thank you plenty, and we believe say as time goes along, maybe one day go come back on this platform for updates how things they go. And we pray for you, like what we say no more, let God guide and protect you. Let God guide and protect all the people in our salon, and let God guide and protect the country. Thank you very much. God bless you.
By the grace of God. Thank you so much. Let God bless you too. Amen. Thanks, God bless Sierra Leone.
Thank you. And for people in our chat room, ladies and gentlemen, what in Dr. Samura end up with, so he said everything get consequences. I remember the 44th president of the United States of America, President Barack Obama, I say election get consequences. So I know say most of you can say, oh, no one makes for politics. We need to jump at politics. We don't want politics. We they fail for realize say we want no life na politics. Because if you go to market, you say the rest don't there na politics. Because when I make la rest there, na political decision they make la rest there. If you go now, you pick in school, teacher a bench no day, nothing no day, that is politics. Because people them in political power, now they make that decision. So let we take this opportunity for learn a lot and don't make the right decision. Don't make sure say we put people in a position of power. We get the expertise, we get the knowledge, we get the experience, we get the love for the country. So for Agichala Side, I want to again thank you plenty for una patience with today. Una in multitudes. Una don't patience, una don't send no comments and so plenty. I'm not going to even attempt to read them, but they all appreciated. And the way una do I'm very civil. So they tell una thank you. Una don't forget Cheng no Bana Yaso next week. They'll not forget so many other people in back. Mfaji Kaba, the deputy leader of the ADP party, is going for come sometime next week. So please, stay tuned to the Dell and Now Media Empire. Una not forget for go now YouTube page. Una subscribe. All the interview they go end up for the now YouTube page. So ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, they say all good things must come to an end.